Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are once again doing another recap on the wonderful Sons of Appalachia. They've released episode 5, also known as The Final Showdown, Rise of the Rogue. This episode was such fun to watch and I enjoyed it greatly. However, I won't ramble for too much longer. Let's get into the video. So, just like every other Sons of Appalachia episode, we start right off with the cool intro and the voiceover featuring Jared King TV. And after the intro, of course, we have a recap of the previous episode for all of us to see, just in case we forgot. Unlike the previous episodes, after the recap of episode 4, we're left with this thing that says the footage from Buck's camera was corrupted and not able to be used. And after all that, we have Buck returning to the camp, seemingly after his encounter with the Cherokee Devil, asking the guys if they got his note. He states how he had an incident while on watch and going over his thoughts with the camera. He heard noises around him, then he heard breathing. He got a feeling that the Cherokee Devil was there with him. He could hear him, then he blinked and woke up on the ground with his camera battery dead and a bloody nose. He immediately states that he had no clue what happened, and that he made a call to his uncle, where his uncle gives Buck an idea to get rid of the Cherokee Devil once and for all. He went to the store, got supplies, and lets the guys know that he has to do this on his own. It's not him being stubborn, it's just what he was instructed to do by his uncle. The guys obviously do not agree with Buck on this plan. It is wild that he wants to do this on his own. However, Buck proposes a compromise. He states that he will take a cameraman with him and leave the guys there. If the Cherokee Devil wants him, he can have him. The guys agree to Buck's proposition as long as he keeps contact, and that puts everything into full gear. Buck fully believes that everything will go good and nothing will happen. He will be in touch. As Buck leaves, we now see Bill and Huckleberry talking to each other, planning to go behind his back to make sure that he's protected when he does this ritual. They will respect his wish to do the ritual alone, but they will lay back far enough so just in case Buck gets hurt or in danger, they can be there to help him quick. And now it is nighttime where we see Buck walking through the woods with the cameraman. Buck, however, wants to talk to the cameraman for a quick second and asks him to switch from their normal camera to IR mode. Buck begins talking about the ritual and how to scare away the Cherokee Devil, said from Native American times. He is scared, however, about risking his faith in this ritual as he's a devout Christian and knows God is in control of what happens. He mentions how he feels at peace, and the cameraman states he's pretty nervous, but Buck calmly lets him know that it's okay. It'd be weird if he wasn't nervous. So upon Buck and the cameraman making it to the red shed, they immediately hear something crunching its way down the path from the red shed. Buck goes towards it slowly, and the cameraman says that he can see a figure down there walking. Could it be the witch? Could it be the Cherokee Devil? Could it be the rogue team? Well, not exactly. As you can see, Bill and Huckleberry walk out from the dark and say that they want to watch him to make sure he's safe and that they're all family. They can help each other through this. After this wholesome interaction between all the members, the camera cuts quite a bit here between the three guys as they split up. First, we see Bill finding a good position to watch. He states how he feels something watching him, a lot like how Huckleberry and Buck have both said, with the Cherokee Devil nearby. The camera, now cut to Huckleberry, also states how he likes to keep his back up to a tree so he can feel covered so nothing can sneak up behind him. And now we get to Buck getting ready to do the ritual, telling the cameraman to stay in the doorway and be cautious of his surroundings, but don't run. He will keep his shotgun next to him. Buck goes over everything he has: the wing, creek water, sage, and a homemade hunting knife, all things he'll use in the ritual. As Buck walks in, we hear a quick whoa, which I think sounds like Bill. However, they don't think it's anything and continue going back to setting up the ritual. He looks around at the walls of the red shed, reminiscing on the past he's had with it in Mountain Monsters. After all this, Buck states he's ready to finally put it all to rest. The camera once again makes a cut to Bill and the cameraman standing in the woods by themselves when suddenly something gets thrown behind them, and that shakes them up really good. They think they're safe for a few seconds, and then they turn around again to something else approaching them in the woods. The camera cuts back to Buck, setting up the ritual even further, asking the cameraman if he's okay. The cameraman and Buck start hearing something. Buck tells him to stay calm, and they begin hearing knocks on the shed. The cameraman tells Buck to keep going on with the ritual as we hear creaking outside the shed. This is where things start to get insane. We now see Huckleberry standing in front of a tree, where he states that he hears the witch's bells ringing behind him. Then we get a cut to Bill protecting the cameraman from what's going on around them, and then something else gets thrown at them. It goes back and forth between Bill and Huckleberry, both dealing with their own creatures and the sounds around them. We now see Buck beginning the incantations of his ritual, and the bangings on the shed seem to get louder, as if the Cherokee Devil was getting mad that Buck was stowing him away with this Indian ritual. The camera once again cuts to Bill, where we see him face to face with one of the cloaked figures. He sprints after and falls. The next thing we know, this cloaked figure is gone. We cut to Huckleberry, who stood up behind a tree making sure nothing's happening. However, something is happening. We see a hand reach up and grab his hat. He immediately grabs his gun and aims it towards her, but it cuts to Bill on the ground, where we see the cameraman helping him up. We're back to Huckleberry, who seems to be hurt. Whatever happened injured his leg, so we see him limping off towards Bill. And just like that, we see Wild Bill and Huckleberry meeting back up together after whatever just happened to the both of them. We're cutting forward now, where we see Buck in the shed, giving his last thoughts, finishing off the ritual. He says a quick prayer, and the cameraman lets him know that he heard Bill and isn't too sure of what's going on. Buck immediately states they should go see if they're okay, not before having a meaningful moment saying how he's ready to move on from the past and the shed, and how the demon is over, marking the end of the Red Shed storyline. Once Buck finally meets up with the rest of the guys, they talk about what happened. Bill says the crazy part of his story, seeing the cloaked figure and chasing after it. However, Buck notices that Huckleberry's hat is gone, and Huckleberry says what happened to him. He didn't get his hat back though, because he was focused on helping Bill, because they're family. Buck finally says that he thinks it's time to head home, and as the guys walk away thinking they won, we see the witch standing not even 10 feet behind them, always watching. The guys, after their long walk, finally make it back to base camp all tired out. It has Buck asking if he can go get the truck since he's ready to get out of there and head home. However, once again, his truck was left wide open with the overhead light on. Buck lets Huckleberry know that he found his hat, and the box is indeed gone. They question why would they want the box, and Bill reveals that he still has the book with him, so whoever was trying to get the book did not get it. Buck reveals that there was more left though, and is to be a note with an SD card attached, and the note reads as followed. The hunt had ended long ago, the legends don't sleep beneath the snow. The echoes of Trapper still stirs the trees, his voice rides low on a mountain breeze. The hills remember the steps he tread, the paths he marked, the blood he bled. A warrior, a watcher, a man of the fight, now whispers, guide Buck through the dead of the night. The ground is cold, but the truth runs deep, in shadows where ancient secrets sleep. Not all graves are filled with bone, some guard the power to shake the known. The rogue have risen, cloaked in ash, chanting riddles in a tongue of wrath. A cult reborn of death and flame, 13th dominion by blood by name. They warned us softly with steel inflamed, you're never alone in the monster game. A war begun when Trapper stood tall, now Buck must rise or they all will fall. He digs where Trapper marked the earth, where legacy waits in the soil of birth. The box is more than wood and rust, it carries fate and broken trust. So light the flame and draw your line, for death is certain, but not the time. The woods grow colder with each breath, and shadows whisper, memento mori, welcome death. After Buck finishes reading the poem, Bill asks the obvious question of who would have put the note there? And then we get a close-up of the 13th Dominion logo. The guys pull the SD card up on a laptop, and we see the following video.
You're chasing shadows. The rogue team that you battled before were hired hands to do work for us. We will burn it forever. Does this sign look familiar? That book goes back to a long time ago, when Trapper stole it from that old witch. He tried to burn it along with the contents, and it would not burn. The astonished giant was collected by us for one of those clients. We are the 13th Dominion. We are not myth. We are not rogue. We are an ancient path.
I wanted to make you all watch it again just so you realize how crazy this video is we got. We got confirmation that the Stonish Giant was killed for this 13th Dominion to sell to a rich person, I guess. They reveal that that book they have, Trapper had stole from the witch and tried to destroy it but couldn't. They also reveal that they have been watching over the SOA team this entire time from a distance, following Buck's truck, and that they planted the sign on Buck's truck in the first place to send them on this mission. It reminds me a lot of that video that they watched at the beginning of Season 6, I believe, with Jeff hanging upside down and the cultist in the barn. I don't know if these are the same people. They could be, however, these might be different groups. The cultist and mountain monsters sent them on the quest after the Spearfinger to begin with. However, these new cultists, the 13th Dominion, seem like they want to send the guys on a quest after, collectibles to sell to people for money. That whole video there was just so awesome to watch and had me in chills seeing it. The story is expanding and none of us know where it could possibly go. All I do know is that I'm going to go real deep into this video and that poem so I can theorize on everything it may have to offer. Getting back on the ending of the Sons of Appalachia episode 5, we end the video with Buck asking if they should head back to West Virginia and regroup. They've been in North Carolina for a few weeks now, I suppose, and he wants to know if they should go back, regroup, and come up with another plan since the 13th Dominion is their new mission. And it closes with this preview of the next hunt. And from what I got from this preview of the next video is that they are going after the Dogman. And we have a high-intensity chase with the Dogman supposedly chasing Bill into Buck's truck as they drive off, ending with a coming soon. The credits roll, and just like the ending of preseason episode 1 says, for every destination, there is a right and wrong path, but instead of highlighting wrong path, it fades out into black, and then, of course, we end with the in memoriam of Trapper. And here comes the part of the episode where I just talk for 5 minutes that's just nonsense about the rest of the video. I decided, firstly, I'm going to talk about the no theories thing. I decided that it would be best for me if I made the theories in a separate video. That way I could take longer researching my theories and planning out of board with every fact of evidence and going over all that. I feel like that'd be a fun video to watch instead of rushing it here in the end. There were a lot of theories that were, wrong. However, I have so many that are right, and I was so happy to see them. So I'm going to go over all that in a separate video sometime in October. I didn't even know I was going to upload this video in September, mainly because I thought my last video on Monster Mondays was going to be my last video for September. However, I decided I'd rush this one out. Well, not rush it. I've taken my time with it, but yeah. It'll be 20 hours of work-ish. So, yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed. That was one thing I wanted to talk about. Another thing I wanted to talk about is that I know they said that they weren't going to do seasons anymore, but I feel like if they did still have seasons, that would have been the end of Season 1. That feels like a great ending spot for a season. I'm assuming they did that mainly so they didn't give off the impression that they were going to take breaks in between seasons. They want to be consistent, so uploading it 1 through 100 would be a lot better for that. I'm assuming that's exactly what's happened here. So I'll have a lot of work for me to do here with the theory video that's coming out next. If y'all really enjoyed this video and want to see more from me, please feel free to leave a like and subscribe and a comment below letting me know what you want me to talk about and how I did. I would greatly appreciate it. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.